What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy B-Hop Radio Shout in. Stepping in the building, I got an A-Town legend off in this thing. Devyne Stevens, what's good with it, boss?
Oh, man, life is good, man. We're above ground. Another day God has blessed us. Hey, man, we here.
I can definitely dig that. Now, I mean, Devyne, I'm going to need you to take me to day one and tell me what was it about music that got you so intrigued that you knew that you needed to be a part of this Atlanta scene and cranking this thing up, man?
Man, it's in the genes. It's in the DNA. My father was into music, you know, so it was at home.
Yeah.
You know, my father was a musician. His brothers, it was like a whole band. It was like growing up watching like the Commodores or the Jackson 5s.
Yeah.
That never quite made it out of my grandmother's living room.
I feel you.
But the talent was there, and so from there, man, I knew right away. Like even at the age of 5, like I won my first talent contest. It was a WAOK talent contest, and my mom forever kept the little trophy. Yeah. So.
What was your first foray into music, though? And then also, just talk to me about Atlanta at that time. What was it like growing up in the A-Town when it wasn't the hip-hop mecca that it is today?
Man, growing up here was like, Atlanta was like a dance town.
Yeah.
You know, like before the music, before the rappers, like the first original rapper that I had a chance to see, and I think I may have snuck into San Susie back in the day. I think I was too young.
Yeah.
It was an artist by the name of Mojo. He had a song called Stomp, Jump, and Twist.
Yeah.
And right then and there, when I saw Mojo breaking that down, I was like, yeah. It's something it's something I wanted to do right away. I knew it right away.
Yes, sir. So what was your first foray into music, though, that you felt like, all right, now I'm in the game and it's time to start playing in this thing?
Well, I joined a group called FDC, which was a dance group. And this was in high school, man. So I have to paint a picture for you on how my high school years look. I went to Lakeshore High School in College Park. So at high school, you know, you would take a vocational class. So I used to take vocational class, and Dallas Austin would be in the actual vocational class, but he would be in the restroom. So when we get there in the morning, we go straight to the restroom, and Dallas Austin is actually in the restroom, and that's where we met.
Yeah.
Originally met, but we weren't really, you know, at the time. You know, we would stay in the bathroom a little longer than we supposed to.
Yeah.
Looking at each other. He's picking his hair. He had this high top fade, and then I had this perm, these finger waves. You know, big up to Escape, Carol of Escape. She laced everybody's hair back in the day.
Yeah.
So with that, the dance group, we went around and we challenged everybody in Atlanta, and we won everywhere. Every high school, wherever you could think of, where a talent show, when FDC showed up, man, it was lights out, man. And from there, we got a chance to work with so many different other people, but we would also meet at the skating rink. So between Jelly Beans and Skate Town and
Screaming Wheel.
Yeah. So that's what we would be on the weekends, and during the course of that time, got a chance to meet Jermaine Dupri. And Jermaine Dupri used to actually make our show tapes. And we used to help Jermaine Dupri and Chad with the routines for Houdini, for the Fresh Fest.
Yeah.
So that was a part. I'm giving you the circle how it all started.
Yeah.
And then I had a little brother that was in high school. I got transferred from Lakeshore over to Campbell High School. And at that high school, I had a little brother that came in when I was already there.
Yeah.
And that was Rico Wade, which is Organized Noise.
Yeah.
And then at the high school was a group of girls, that kind of like, was always choosing one of the date and wanted to hang out. It's a group of bad chicks back then, right?
Yeah.
But the main girl in that little group was T-Boz. You know, but T-Boz also was the apprentice at Carol's at Escape at the salon, and she actually shampooed my hair. You know, she kept my perm and everything. She kept that tight. Yeah. So I'm giving you a small little Atlanta circle that kind of ignited, not just this is before everybody's success in the music business.
Exactly. Yeah. What was that like, knowing all of these people before the fame and before the money and before the success? Did it seem like it was automatically going to be a circle of success, or was y'all just all some cool folks out here kicking it?
Nah, we didn't have no real outlet. There was no outlet back then. We was just doing it because we loved it. And not only that, it just, because dance was so big, even now, still to this day, Atlanta is still on the map because we still having fun.
That's right.
We still putting music out that comes with dance steps, and that's been the culture. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's from the Migos all the way back down to Raheem the Dream, the Kilo.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how you mix it, we're still having fun. And we were the nucleus of how that was created.
Talk to me about that dance scene. Now, was it some of that beat it dance stuff like Michael Jackson? Y'all had to whoop some ass after dancing, or what the hell was going on at that time?
Man, I'll give you my breakout moment. I think the moment I thought I made it is when me and my crew got a chance to battle Bobby Brown and Heart and Soul at Club Sensation. And when I tell you, it was funny because Bobby didn't know he didn't really know that Atlanta. Bobby had just moved here.
Yeah.
And our goal was to show Bobby that we can dance, and hopefully Bobby would take us on tour.
Yeah.
But it didn't quite happen that way. What happened was Bobby, he was up there jamming the whole club. This is like Prerogative has just dropped. Don't Be Cruel. He was hotter than, he was on fire.
Yeah.
But he was in my town.
Come on now.
He was in my town.
That's right.
And not only that club, I'm there every week. So they was like, go Bobby, go Bobby, go Bobby. And Bobby is smashing. And I'm like, oh, okay. I looked at the DJ and I looked at him. I said, drop it. I said, I'm whispering to him. I said, yo, drop it. And when he dropped it, he dropped that Planet Rock. So, you had to change the tempo for Atlanta.
Yeah.
So when I hit Bobby with one of them moves, went down to the ground, came back up, then slid over to him, and the whole club went, Jink! At that moment, Bobby did like this, he said, yo, now mind you, our hair permed up.
Yeah.
We got on woolly wear, we dressed from head to toe. Bobby was like, yo, what was that? The whole club went crazy. So then he rushed out the back, and I know the club owner. So, the club owner was my godfather. So I said, well, Godfather, is there any way possible I can meet Bobby Brown?
Yeah.
And then, they brought me to the back, Bobby Brown standing outside, white Jaguar, everybody around. And they walked me over to him, and I'm like, yeah, this is my big break, right? And I walked over to him, and Bobby looked at me, and I reached my hand out, and he was like, that was cute. and he didn't shake my hand. He didn't shake my hand. He was like, that was cute. Because he was from Boston. He didn't understand.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like, he thought that was some gay movement or something. Just because he was looking at Atlanta vibe with the hair waves and the whole nine. He was like, yo, what was that? Right? So later on, long story short, me and Bobby became super, super cool.
Yeah.
I had a studio right across the street when he first bought Bosstown.
That's right.
I had the funk shop right across the street. We became cool. I ended up working on a few videos for him, and then later on in life, I used to come home and Bobby would already be in my house. Because he knew my housekeeper at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
Rocking out with Bobby Brown during them early days, because Gip told me that y'all was coming down in them expensive cars and just having the time of y'all life, and y'all really showed folks how to do it in the A-Town. What was that like at that time?
Man, listen. Seeing Bobby Brown, when Pebbles came here, I would say when LA and Babyface first moved here, and they showed up in them Range Rovers and them 560 convertibles, we was like, man, that was it. But before them, we was already into the money.
Yeah.
We was in the money before they hit. But Gip remembers, that Mercedes, that 160, that 190, 16 valve that I pulled up in back in the day. I think I might have been in 11th grade.
My God.
Yeah, I was in the 11th grade, and I think Dallas had the big body BMW.
Yeah.
I think he may have the 8 series, the 8 series, and he was in the 10th grade. and Dallas used to work at a jewelry store at Shannon Mall.
That's right.
And so he used to come to school with all this jewelry on, like. And I was like, yo, money, where you get the jewelry? He used to come and he used to sell some of it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, all right. So I was like, all right. And I was like, yo, where you get this from? He says, come to the mall. Just come to the mall. And I showed up to the mall, man, and my man was just having a field day at the jewelry store.
My God. So now, a young Dallas Austin, a young Devyne Stevens, in high school, having y'all way. Talk to me about the mindset that you had then and where y'all was planning on taking it from there.
Man, listen, I've had a hell of a run, but back then, I thought we was bigger than New Edition.
Ooh.
Yeah. In that era, in that time, I thought we was bigger than New Edition. I thought we could have went against New Edition. We could have went. I think at one point we got a chance to battle Troop, and we took Troop out. And the next step was to get a chance to be in front of Boyz. I mean, to be in front of New Edition.
Yeah.
So, but back then we just thought we was just that big.
Now, LaFace comes to town.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that and how that started to shape and change the culture in the A-Town, and how did you get down with that whole movement?
Well, I got discovered at Fat Tuesday on O National.
Okay.
It was a young lady by the name of Kimberly Smith. But I got to back this story up a little bit because I got to give my man props. So I come from the dancing world and trying to become a rapper. One of the members in the FDC used to be like, yo, man, we don't want everything. Now it's time to just take it and start doing music. So I'm like, okay, all right, that's cool. But I'd be like, yeah, but we don't rap and we don't write. And he was like, nah, we can figure it out. So he started writing rhymes the whole 9. We ain't take him serious. We actually laughed at him. Nah, boy, that's crazy. Nobody's doing that. And then I finally got with Raheem the Dream, and Raheem the Dream wrote my first rap.
What?
Yeah. So he wrote the first rap. He actually wrote the rap that I did to Dallas Austin beat. So I took Dallas Austin beat, Raheem the Dream rhymes, put it together, and showcased at Fat Tuesday, Frozen Palace? Not
Paradise.
Frozen Paradise.
Okay.
On O National.
My God.
Yeah. And then we signed to a production company. The young lady took us to her parents, and her parents had a company called Platinum Records, and we end up doing a production agreement with them, and then they took us to showcase for Pebbles. So we had to make it past P first.
Yeah.
If P gave it a green light, then LA and Babyface came in. So Pebbles was on the grounds with the talent, discovering the talent, and then from there we got a chance. We flew out to LA and we performed in front of LA and Babyface. And as soon as we finished, they got up and walked out the room. They didn't say, pleased to meet you, hello, nothing. They walked in like how I am right now with my shades on.
Yeah.
They sat down at the table with their suits on, and they look like so much money sitting in front of you. You just like, oh man, you got to come with it, right? So, man, we went all the way there, and then the next they left, called back, and said we want to do it. We want to sign them.
What was that like when you signed to LaFace? And then did you feel like it was time, or did you feel like was this something that you had been waiting for your whole life? And
Nah, it wasn't something I was waiting for my whole life, because I had already, man, I used to go to high school and I'm walking down the hall, they screaming, running. It was like New Edition in the building. It was, so I I didn't look at it any different.
Yeah.
I looked at it like, okay, it's just another part of the journey. I was never really kind of starstruck. I always felt like how to create that energy.
Yeah.
And that's just really, really what it was. I mean, I used to be at school before you see Michael Jackson history with the military left and right. We used to do that and have that with ROTC. Yeah, so we'll show up to a high school, kids going crazy. The movement we have to show up with ROTC.
That's hard.
Yeah. And that was I think we may have did that at Thera High School because the kids were going so crazy.
That's crazy. So now you with LaFace, what was that like being in the industry and now you signed and y'all working on projects and stuff?
Oh man, that was incredible. I think the first thing they allowed us to do is to perform with Pebbles, and we got a chance to work with her closely, and we ended up doing a Senior Hall. And then we did a Natalie Cole Big Break.
Yeah.
And we did a lot, and we did some television shows. She went on a Budweiser Superfest tour, and we got a chance to do that. But while all that was going on, I still was developing talent. I ended up doing had the pleasure of working with ABC. I did Boyz II Men in the Garage.
Yeah.
So, and they went on to be the largest boy band in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Facts.
Right out of the garage. So, I remember Rico Wade showcasing Big Boy and Dre for me outside of the beauty supply store on Headland and Delowe. Yeah.
When you saw Big and Dre, did you know that they were going to go on to be the greatest of all damn time?
Nah, I didn't think that, because I had a conversation with Rico about them, and at the time, you know, they was rapping real fast, but they was rapping like DOS Effects. You know what I'm saying? So they were rapping real fast, and I was like, yo, but because you got to think, I think their first song was like, they even want a Benz or a Beamer. It wasn't even about anything Southern.
Yeah.
So then me and Rico had a conversation about that, and you know, he went back in and changed the direction on where they was actually going, and the next thing you know, it was Southern it was Players Ball. It was, you know, but at the time when we first started, that wasn't the direction. So I didn't really hear it because it was emulating, you know,
North stuff.
Yeah, they was fans at that point.
Yeah.
And until they actually came into their own.
Answer me this, Devyne. You in your own right, Dallas Austin, Organized Noise, Cass, all of these people, what is it that you think made y'all great? And what do you think it took to be great? Or was this just something that was innate in everybody?
Nah, it was a competition. You know, we competed on a high level. And everybody got a chance to feed off everybody. And I think that's what made it great. You know, you had Dallas taking off as a producer, and everybody seeing that kid in the 10th grade with a hit on Dougie Fresh, and you like, you know, you like, whoa. You know, you wanted some of that, you know.
Yeah.
And then even with us dancing and ripping everything down, everybody wanted some of that. They
Yeah.
like, yo, we want that. That's why you see, even to this day, you still see JD dancing, you still see Outkast dancing. It's just in our blood. That just was nature.
What was it like trying to show Boyz II Men how to break it down, man?
That was tough. That was tough because Michael Bivins at the time, he didn't understand exactly what it was going to be because they were singing like commission. You know what I mean? And he kind of left it up to me to just be creative and do what I want to do. And I just said, give me a second, and I'll come back to you with it. And the fact that he gave me the freedom to do it, and the fellas trust me with the idea, and then it came off.
A young Usher.
Yeah.
Showing him some moves. I mean, break that down to me.
Man, listen, I saw Usher first at Diamond. I think Brian Reed brought him. Brian Reed, LA brother, brought him in to LaFace. But I got a chance to work with him on his very first video. It was called "Just Call Me the Mac," and I think it was on a soundtrack. And the director was F. Gary Gray.
Yeah.
So me and young Usher, you know, we've been locked in for a long time.
When it comes to showing folks them moves, who picked up them dance moves the best and really displayed them like they needed to be displayed?
Well, it's kind of it's weird because the way I design it based off of them. It's they suit. It's not who can pick it up, who can pick up what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's
about what looks natural on them.
Yeah.
So I'm able to tap into what they have.
Okay.
And develop that.
So with my stiff ass over here, you got some stiff moves for me too.
Listen, I can take that.
Yeah.
I can take your natural capability.
Yeah.
And actually make something out of it.
When you look at your career though, Devyne, what was that tipping point for you where you felt like you had the world in the palm of your hands and you was having the time of your damn life?
I don't feel like I had that moment.
Ooh. So did you ever have a good time in this thing?
I had a lot of fun working with people, man. A lot of great experiences. I'm still learning, man. I'm still learning the game. It's constantly changing.
Yeah.
I mean, so I can say I'm enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
But I can't say I had the time of my life.
When you got into the music industry though, being that you were already popping in these streets beforehand.
Right.
Did the industry turn out to be everything that you expected it to be, or was it a little wilder, or how was that maneuvering in the industry?
The industry is, if I was speaking to if I had to talk to the younger me,
yeah,
man, we would have did a lot of things a little different because now I know the business. At that time, you're just doing it because you just want to express yourself and you want to have fun and life was about kicking it. But when you start understanding the business, you start understanding the institution that we serve and the community that we serve.
Yeah.
It becomes to be a little bit more intricate, and it takes a little bit more of understanding.
Yeah.
So I'm always educating myself about the next level and the next level.
Akon.
Yeah, man.
Talk to me about when you discovered that man and realized that he had that star power.
Well, it was weird because we didn't start off as business partners or doing anything business-wise.
Yeah.
I was developing a group called A Chronic, which Lil Zane was in that group. And Lil Zane actually brought Akon to my studio. And then Akon saw he saw Usher and TLC, and I think at the time he saw I was developing Destiny Childs and Pink, all these people coming out of one building, and what he was thinking was, I need to know that guy.
Yeah.
And so they introduced him to me. Then he came in and rented out some space just so I can hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he rented out my studio, and then I would just walk by it, and I was like, oh, dude got an incredible tone. But I never thought nothing really about it.
Yeah.
And every day he just would ask me different questions about the music business. And then I would kind of drop a little something down. Every time I drop something, he'll pick it up. And then I think he went and got a publishing deal because Akon was a writer and a producer first. He got a publishing deal, and I think, he had blew through the money and had probably $75,000 left.
Yeah.
And then I set him down because I started seeing him pulling up in whips and and he looked like, how one of them cars that had all the lights and the flags and everything on it. And I seen him wasting his money on whips like that. I said, hey man, I think, you might want to slow down on that and invest in yourself, because you're coming over to my studio. You might want to invest in your own studio.
Yeah.
And so I gave him that game, and he went and got a studio, and he set up shop. And he, I think he did a deal at the time with Elektra. Sylvia Rome signed him, and I end up signing to Elektra later on. And we both, somehow the music didn't work, and we got dropped from Elektra Records. And then he came back to me. He came back and asked me more about business, and then we just became friends at that point. And hey, I always knew he had an incredible tone, and I knew his talent was there. And I just said, if it was packaged properly and the world got a chance to hear it, he would be one of the most influential artists in our generation.
When it comes to artist development, who were the most difficult artists to develop?
Listen, it's crazy because I really don't have those problems. I don't have those problems, but I can say there is a case. There's two cases.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the first one. Let me give you the first one.
Okay.
So the first case, I would say 112.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing they said to me is, man, if you could do 112, if you could fix this, then you're a miracle worker. I said, so I brought him in, I looked at it, and I said, oh, this is easy. Mm-hmm. And Puff was like, for real? I was like, yeah, because Devyne was the stiffest one out of all of them. Like Devyne, he was just like, he moved like a robot. and then the other ones kind of was like awkward moving. I think Q had a little something with him because Q very athletic.
Yeah.
And then, Mike could catch on, but I got a chance to get in there and find that thing that made them glow. Mm-hmm. And so when you go back now and look at Peaches and Cream and look at Come See, Only You couldn't tell, man. You couldn't tell. They spent the time. They got in there. We worked it out. And then by the time Puffy saw it, he was like, oh my gosh. He was like, yo, money, you got your money, checks out money. Yo, we got to do your money. It's like, and the next thing you know, I went on a Diddy excursion for about 9 years. Break down the Diddy excursion for 9 years, though, Devyne. You got to think. Me and Diddy, this is like, I would say it's more like Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Because I would say he was probably the most, he worked the hardest. Yeah. And so I have to give that to him. I'm not saying, he didn't have to be the most talented, but he will outwork you. Which was his talent. As you can see today, he has a different skill set that most people don't have. Man, we did everything from tours to the videos to television shows to you name it. Being able to witness all of this greatness and being a part of it yourself, what were the times that you felt like, oh man, this is some greatness happening again? Or did it ever get old to you, Devyne? Well, it became business as usual. As you see people, you develop and they go on, and then sometimes it's disheartening when they don't give you your props, they don't give you your flowers, and you're like, man, I spent them hours, we did this, and then because the role of artist development sometimes just get lost. Yeah. They want to give a little credit to a producer, but even if you produce a hit for an artist, it's not guaranteed they come back to you on the next album. They move on even to a new sound. So everybody kind of goes through it. So with me, it was more so they would come back, but it still wasn't given the credit. Yeah. So it was like, oh, okay, all right. So after I turned around, I'm sitting here, man, did over 500 million in billing, and I'm sitting here looking at what I got, what you got, and the opportunities that you have. And we can take this to a whole nother level, but we're not building together. Yeah. We're just building whatever your empire is. And at that moment, I said, let me just create my own. For those that might not understand, what really goes all the way into artist development? What is it that you had to bring to the table to get these folks ready for the big screen, for the main stage? Well, some people have natural capability, but when it comes to like, it's just like a ball player, You could be Michael Jordan, but he still has to train. He still has to go. He plays in the summer. If he want to win 6 rings, he still got to go to preseason. That's right. So all of that is preparing you for playoffs. Facts. Then hopefully prepares you for a championship. So it's the same thing in the music space. All those pieces, and a lot of times nowadays kids, they just kind of they want to skip that part, and they just want to go directly and whatever they post on their phone. If they get some likes, and they're cool with that, but that don't necessarily grant you long-term success in the music business.
That's right.
Yeah. But it's a lot goes into it, when it comes down to the styling, it comes down to the vocal capability, even rap cadence. Even when I worked with Jay-Z, it was more so of timing. It was on timing on, it's not about dancing, it's about music, about sonically when the music drops. What are you saying at this point? How you set up this record? That's the conversation me and him would have. And same case in point, even with Scarface, people couldn't even understand how you go from there, and then work with a Scarface. I said it was really easy because it was all about timing and how you set up the record. It's like certain DJs don't know how to set up certain records, even in the club, let alone on a stage. You know what I'm saying? So artists don't know that either. And then some of them don't care to know it. And then those who actually get it is the one that actually holds you. It's just like a comedian can stand there with a microphone and hold you for a whole hour.
Yeah.
But you can sit there and watch an artist, and the artist would lose you. Only time you would join in with an artist if you just knew the record.
Thanks.
But that's not what happens with a comedian. With a comedian, you don't even have to know the joke. They can hold you for a whole hour. That's just because of how they set the joke up. You got it? So I break that narrative down to artists, and then we get into it. It's a little intricate, but yeah, it's a method to it.
Breaking it down with Jay-Z though, Devyne, I mean, what kind of bread was y'all breaking when you was talking to Jay saying this is how you set the record up, man?
I mean, Jay understood. Look at Jay. If you go back from when Jay first started walking around like Rakim, Jay-Z can go, you how he go into Chica, and then all of a sudden, bounce with me. So it went from one song into you hear the cadence change, and it goes right into the next record.
Yeah.
He learned how to do that, and those are the things that we talk about. It wasn't about dancing, it wasn't about anything, it was just about how to set it up.
How the hell did you learn that information in order to share with other people, or was this just a God-given gift that you had on you?
Well, I'm not talented. I can tell you that.
My God.
I'm not talented at all. I would just have to say I'm definitely gifted.
Yeah.
It's a gift. It's not something that I rehearse. It's not something that I practice. I grew up watching James Brown. And from James Brown, I understood Michael Jackson. I could dissect Michael Jackson, break Michael Jackson down, and put Michael Jackson back together, just like a mechanic could take a car apart and put it back. So people didn't understand that. I was like, yo, so what did Michael Jackson? I said, I can tell you where he got that from. I can tell you where Michael Jackson got every step, every scene, every concept, from his socks to his shirt.
Damn.
Yeah, from West Side Story all the way to Candyman, Sammy Davis Jr., to Fred Astaire. I can just point it all out to you.
As a student of the game, how important do you think it is for anybody trying to get into this industry and be successful to be a student of the game?
You got to learn. You have to learn. You either learn the hard way or you could just voluntarily learn, but you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Every day you wake up, you're going to learn something new. You're going to learn something that you don't know. And you can either process it, and take the lessons, or you can learn the hard way and still learn the lesson.
Destiny's Child, working with them early on, what was it like seeing them girls getting busy, and did you know that they were going to go off to be the greatest of all time as well?
Didn't quite see that. I didn't see that because I was working at the time when I was working with them. I knew they were special, but you got to understand TLC was a little bit before that.
Yeah.
So I was in the midst of the TLC and the Destiny Child at the same time. Working
with TLC, what was that like when you already knew them beforehand, and then now you're dealing with them as mega superstars?
It was easy, man. It's like it's like three sisters.
Yeah.
T-Boss today still, you know, it's like my best friend.
Yeah.
And it's like family. Like it's like it's not a I mean, it's nothing. I mean, it was just like going in a room, like, you know, just creating with family members.
When I think about that whole Atlanta connection from the 90s, though, what was it like seeing everybody be successful? Because it seems like everybody got their opportunity to shine at that time, man. And I ain't seen nothing like it since.
Yeah, the only thing, I mean, that was a beautiful time, but the only thing that I saw back then that I thought could have been different, you know, like one of the biggest album that came out of Atlanta was the TLC album, and that Dallas, Jermaine, Organized Noise all got a chance to work on. And we all worked on that project. And I always thought that we should have done more together, you know, and I think at that moment it was more so just kind of the captain of the ship was L.A. Reid at the time. And I was always like, yo, we just got to do more. We got to do more. We can kind of change the narrative on how the whole ecosystem play out if we just all work together.
Talk to me about that, because I've been screaming that myself during this time, okay? So what is that like when you see all of this talent and everybody knows each other, but it's not enough camaraderie in the building?
Well, it's still segregation. You know, it's a lot of segregation here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Everybody know each other, and it's a business, but you know, it's governed differently, you know, and we don't take the time out to think about how to crank out mass production as a unit.
Yeah.
We need outside influences to come in to actually green light what we do. That's the reason why I honor Tyler Perry, you know, and in such a way he was able to take his vision and actually mass produce it.
Yeah.
You know, with his people, and keep cranking regardless of what the infrastructure or what the system is. He was able to keep cranking out, and that's the key. The key is product flow, always having product, you know. And a lot of times it's not that people get hot or cold, it's just the fact that they don't have the system to continue to keep cranking, because the hardest part for all of us, because of the system, is a lot of us can't manage success. And that's the issue. It's not becoming successful. It's when you become successful, all the outside interference and influence that comes in, people at that moment are more distracted and don't really stick to the actual script in terms of keep producing.
Can you go a little deeper?
I was about to, and I caught myself. How deep you want me to go?
I feel you. But just managing success.
Yeah.
How the hell do we go about managing success?
Well, I mean, it's like anything. We still got to create our own institution. You know, we learn a lot by financing, by screwing up money.
Yeah.
That's how we learn. But imagine if you had someone teach you how finances work without taking the L's. You know, what to buy, how to buy. You would be, you know, we all would be in a different situation. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, that's going to take a major sit down so we can change that narrative. I hear a lot of people talking about it, you know, but a lot of people who talk about it still play me ball. So the politics of it'll throw you because, you know, cats saying one thing, standing on the front line saying black and I'm proud. But meanwhile, that ain't really what we're saying over here at this other table.
Fuck them niggas.
Yeah. The other table, nah, man, he ain't that. Don't do business with him.
Yeah.
You know, they'll put a wall up on you.
Yeah.
But when they come outside, you know, it's all good, baby.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, until we can kind of, you know, get some real leadership And I think, I don't think for this generation, I think for the next generation, that's why it's so important for me. The reason why I opened up an academy is because I want to make sure I reach the youth. And I think if we can touch them, then maybe, just maybe, I'll live long enough to see the change happen.
Come on, man. Let's get into this academy. This Devyne Stevens Academy. Yeah, what kind of game are you laying on the future in this thing, man?
I mean, it's education, it's the arts. I like taking on at-risk kids. I consider myself one of those. Non-tradition, think outside the box. I've seen more millionaires that were at risk than I actually seen that went through the regular structure of education. So at the end of the day, I think we're touching some unique minds and giving them hope in a lot of different areas, and I started a vocation as well. So I want to do things that, we're not teaching you necessarily how to play a instrument, play a flute, but we're going to teach you how to work Pro Tools. We're going to teach you how to produce. And you can sit there and say, okay, a Metro Boomin or a Mike Will, they may not even know how to play 10 instruments. But you're sitting there looking at millionaires that learn how to produce from a laptop.
Come on.
So we're going to teach the kids. We're going to give them that experience. And we're going to see a lot of things change. We got off into the sports world as well. So we're doing some interesting things there. As you can see, Georgia's on fire. In terms of sports, I'm not so sure if you was watching the AAU, what was going on when things opened back up. Man, it was phenomenal to go down to Georgia World Congress Center and see thousands of kids, living out their dreams, and people that's been kind of sheltered in because of COVID, and a lot of the college coaches came out. I thought that was beautiful. You're going to see the same thing even with football and baseball. So we're moving, and a lot of great talent is coming out of the South.
What was it that made you open up the academy?
Well, it's in my wheelhouse. I always had artist development centers, and I just wanted to get a little younger and develop a little younger. I'm going to open up 4 more. It's going to be 5 schools throughout Georgia, and then once I develop that, then I'll start moving around a little bit more other cities. But I wanted to make sure I covered my backyard.
When it comes to educating the youth about the music industry, from your own experience, what were some of the biggest lessons that you learned or bumps on the road along the way that you had to just kind of, juxtaposition in the middle of the game to figure out what the hell was going on?
Well, you got to learn how to separate yourself from loyalty and money.
Ooh. Break it down.
I mean, because you could be loyal to something that's not loyal to you. Some people are loyal to money. I learned that the hard way, and I learned it was a business. So with that being said, I understand how to separate the two.
Talk about money in the music industry. How does that impact people? How did it impact you? And what do you think that does in the game?
Well, one thing I would like to say, when people start talking about, because right now I hear a lot of artists, I own my masters. And I kind of laugh at that because, that's not a one-size-fit-all kind of conversation. I don't think everybody should own their masters because I don't think everybody knows how to market and promote. I think people need business partners. Some people are good at certain things and some people not. You can own your masters if you want to do 100% of the work, and you know how to develop a team, and you know how to go out and market and promote to the masses. Some people can assemble that and some can't.
Thanks.
So the ones that can't will ultimately get left behind, wasting their money, saying they own 100% of zero. So my point is, you don't, what's your skill set? How much knowledge do you really have? And then some of that is luck. Some people are just lucky, I can say a guy like Prince, he should own his masters. He's 100%er. He's a writer, he's a producer, he can do it. And then the only thing he has to do is hire a team to market and promote. Okay, all right, I can see that. But a guy that doesn't write his music, don't produce his music, he needs funding.
Yeah.
And he's gonna need a team.
Yeah.
You know, so wherever you get the money from, however you do it, my point is that theory, some artists are getting lost with that theory. And I think we have to change that narrative too, because you see a lot of successful artists today that's been in business over 30 years that don't own their masters.
Yeah. Yeah. Working with Boo and finding T-Pain in this thing.
Yeah.
What was that like when you saw T-Pain? And he was another game changer though.
Man, listen, when we heard the melodies, you know, when Boo tried to describe him to me, you know, because, you know, it's like trying to explain to me how marketable he's not, right? And he was like, nah, but when you meet him, I was like, man, just play the music. Let the music speak. And then played I'm Sprung. And then I was like, wow. Then he played me another song. And I think some of these songs, T-Pain was just writing these songs trying to get them to Akon.
Damn.
So I was like, now that's a hit. That's dope. But can I get this one right here for Akon? Can I get this one for Akon? So I was still in the midst of getting records for Akon, and then when I finally met him, I was like, man, I get it. They was like, the record company told us to make him lose weight, change his hair color, the whole nine. And at that moment, we was like, you don't hear the melody? You don't hear that music? You don't hear it? They was like, yeah, we hear it, but it would be bigger if he... I said, no, it's going to be big just like that. And then we let it go.
What went through your mind when he came with the auto-tune and that just kind of changed the whole game?
It was something new and fresh at the time. You haven't heard it since Roger or since Teddy Riley. So it hadn't been done in hip-hop the way that he was doing it. So, man, it was a game changer for us.
Everybody called him the man for hooks because he became the hook king as well.
Well, Akon became the hook king first.
Okay, now. Okay.
All right, and then T-Pain followed.
Yeah.
And then after that, we set the tone for Lil Wayne and Drake and everybody else.
So now, working as an executive at the same time, what is that like being behind the scenes, navigating deals and things of that nature?
Oh, man, I had I wouldn't even say I had great mentors. I would just say I had some great learning lessons because there ain't nobody give me the game. I had it tough, man, because trying to make a transition from artist development to being an exec or even being an artist, you know, people don't believe in the shift. They don't believe in the change. You know, when people see you one way, they want to stereotype you. They want to keep you right there. But for me, the business aspect of it was natural because even when I was in the streets, you know, I knew how to do numbers.
Yeah.
and then when I started developing talent, I knew numbers. Yeah. So it was a natural progression by having record deals and actually learning and being able to work with somebody like a LA and Babyface, and then work with Puffy for so many years. And then get a chance to work with Clive Davis. I got a chance to see. I didn't have a seat at the table. I had to go make my own table.
That's right.
And pull my own self up, my own chair up. But what I got a chance to see was enough.
What you just said, you just snapped, okay? Can you speak to making your own table when you're around all of these folks and knowing that you this close right there with all these people, but understanding that, hey, man, I got to go and create my own lane and my own table?
They didn't believe it. They didn't believe.
My God.
They didn't believe. L.A. Reid, you know, he took a shot. You know, he took a shot early on as an artist, but as an entrepreneur and as a businessman, you know, he didn't, you know, even when I got popping, he didn't come back and get me. He came back and hired Boo. You know, so at the end of the day, it was like, oh, okay, I see what that is. But it wasn't coming to help me build. Yeah. It was like, let's take a break. You know, so I was like, well, okay, well, it would have been 1,000 HUD homes instead of building a mansion, but it was cool. And the same thing with Puff. He didn't, you know, after all the success, we was getting down, but he came here and started a whole operation with Block. And some Bad Boy South after I developed all the talent. So then all that was like just motivation for me to just do my own thing. So then that's when I had my own production company, and then gave birth to Akon, then birth to T-Pain, and then birth to Lady Gaga, Rock City, and then, the list goes on.
Lady Gaga.
Oh, you forgot about that, huh?
Oh, no, I knew about Lady Gaga.
Right.
You just didn't give me. I was gonna get around to it, but you brought it up first. When you think about how big Lady Gaga got is, what went through your mind at that time?
Well, everything happens for a reason, right? At the time, Lady Gaga was signed to LaFace Record. I mean, she was signed to Def Jam. I'm sorry. LA was running Def Jam, and she didn't. The music wasn't the kind of music that we put out. She was doing, a little bit jazz, cabaret. So even LA quite didn't get the music. He signed her, but it didn't get the music. Yeah. And we end up working. We had just did a smash record on Gwen Stefani called "Sweet Escape" that actually really saved that album because that was probably one of the biggest records that she had on that album. And we was going in to work on the Pussycat Dolls. And at the time, there was a producer by the name of Red One that we was in business with. And Red and Akon went in to create some songs on the Pussycat Dolls and needed someone to come in to demo out the songs. And Red said he had somebody that could demo the songs out. And he brought in Lady Gaga to demo the songs. Unfortunately, when she did those 6 songs, and Akon played them for me, I said, now this is incredible. Who is that? And then that's when got a chance to meet her. And immediately when I met her, she had on a leotard with some fishneck stocking with holes in them and some Doc Martens, some boots on. And I was like, okay, she giving me Cher. She giving me Madonna. Okay, I see what you're giving me. Yeah, she's definitely a superstar. And at that moment, man, the light came on, and then, we had to go do some business.
What is it like maneuvering on that level, though, Devyne? Because a lot of folks try to get into the music industry and they just kind of scrape the surface of it, but they never get a chance to maneuver in those circles and on those levels. What was it like for you maneuvering in those places, man?
Man, I'm a natural dancer. So you got to know how to dance, man. Yeah. It's about knowing how to dance because there's no blueprint, man. This thing is about relationships, and even those relationships sometimes are not what they seem. So you just got to know how to dance, man. And that's the book coming, Dancing to the Top.
That's hard. That's hard. So now, you know what, Devyne? Earlier in this conversation, you kind of pissed me off when you said that you never felt like you were doing your thing, but during this conversation, it seems like you've been doing your thing a long ass time.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest thing that you've done that you kind of even impressed yourself a little bit?
I think the biggest thing was being able to give back, man. I ended up joining a few boards. I served on the Children's Health Care. Yeah. I served on TJ Martell for leukemia and cancer. I actually served on the Woodruff Art Center board. Yeah. And those were some of the highlights, man. And actually Arthur Blank's Camp Twin Lake, kids with disability. So I was able to share some of those moments and some of those experiences, and those are the highlights, man. We on a race, man, to see who can make the most money and then who can give the most money away because we can't take it with us.
Speak to divine intervention, man.
Yeah, that's what it's been.
Coming in there and just giving back and being able to help at the same time.
That's what it's been about the whole time. That's the reason why I spend countless of hours with talent, making sure they get it so they can live their dream. Yeah.
Who was the most rewarding when you saw them be able to live their dream? What really warmed your heart the most when you saw them make it?
Man, it's quite a few. I would say Mary J. Blige. She was one. She was one that was real respectful and always gave back. And then another one who don't get the credit that she deserved, who started this whole music scene in Atlanta, is Pebbles. She's one, and then when T-Boz had the light on her, she shared it. She shared it with me, and she's been 100 since high school.
That's hard. When you speak to Pebbles and you say that she don't get the credit she deserved, can you break down what it was that she was doing to move the culture forward in Atlanta?
Well, you got to think, when L.A. Reid and them came here, they brought Dame with them. They were signing older acts. Jermaine Jackson was on the label. They had a couple of Chico DeBarge was on the label. And they were signing older acts because that's what they was, accustomed to. And she came in right away.
Yeah.
Boots on the ground, PA, organized noise, us, Devyne in 90. Like, you got to think, like, that was the finger on the pulse of the culture. She come in signing everything from Atlanta. TLC, biggest thing to ever hit. Then come right behind that with Outkast. That's all Pebbles.
What was your favorite time in the industry, Devyne?
My favorite time in the industry? I haven't had it yet.
Oh! So you was angry as hell the whole time, Devyne?
No, I wasn't angry. I was
dancing?
Nah, I was moving. I was making sure everybody else was good. Now I'm about to make sure I'm good.
Ooh, I feel that.
Yeah.
So what is it like being able to take that energy and direct it back towards yourself after being a giver for so damn long?
Man, listen. It's still the same. It's still the same because, the hard part is trying to find the motivation. Is to find that fire for 30 years, how you keep that candle lit. That's the challenge. And if I can keep the candle lit, and when I look back over it, then I can tell you the whole journey was it.
How did you keep the candle lit thus far?
Man, staying prayed up, man, the Most High, because it's been some roads, man.
What were the times that you felt like it wasn't for you? Were there ever any times that you felt like, hey, man, I think I might need to find me something else to do?
Nah, man, we live in a magical world, man.
Yeah.
Everything's magical. I mean, this whole entertainment thing is just magical. How you wake up, do what you want to do, create what you want to create, and then sell it, and then actually reap the benefits of your labor. To me, that's magical. There's people out here going to work 9 to 5, pouring concrete, doing real manual labor. That's work. What we do is magic.
Yeah.
And man, long as I can create magic any day, any time of day.
It's the same question, but it's worded different. What was the most magical moment?
I haven't had it yet.
But no, was there any time that you saw a caterpillar turn into a butterfly? You were like, well, damn.
Nah, I don't even think I bloom yet.
I'm talking about the people you work with.
I mean, everything I touch blooms.
Ooh. Was there anybody that bloomed a little too short? He was thinking, nah, I thought you was going to get all. So answer me this. With the superstars, are there some people that you come across that don't go where you thought they were supposed to go? And are there some people that overachieve?
Nah, there's some artists that don't finish the course. There's some artists that don't stick to the process. But that doesn't mean that they didn't get what I put down.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
I'm not basing it off how much money you have. I'm not basing it off how much success you have. I'm basing it off how long you live well. Is what I'm basing it off of.
When you look at the music industry for a young guy that's trying to get into it now, man, what are some of the pitfalls that they need to look out for and be aware of before they get into the game?
I would just say learn the game, man. Learn the game. Go get an old head. Find out the do's and the don'ts. And that's how you learn, man. You got to go get the information. And you got to, a lot of times the old cats don't want to give it to you. They want to be like 80 years old still swinging.
In the front.
Yeah, still in the front swinging at this thing. But at the end of the day, the youth is going to take over. You have to somehow, you're going to have to move over, you're going to have to shift. And I think one of the biggest things for us was shifting, was always putting younger talent in play.
Exactly.
So that's just the way I view it, and I always would see it that way.
What are your top do's and your top don'ts?
My top do's is, man, stay working at it. My top don'ts is don't ever give up.
That'll work for me.
Yeah, don't ever give up. I don't care, man. I don't care if nobody gets it. I was looking at a picture the other day of Chris Paul, James Harden, and Tucker. And they say out of three, if they asked you 5 years ago when they played for Houston, out of the three, which one of these you think is going to get a ring first? You would have never picked Tucker.
Yeah.
And he was just the hardest worker and played defense. So imagine if he would have gave up because he didn't score 30 points a game.
Crazy.
So yeah, I look at life totally different, man, and I'm honored to serve this community and continue to give back, and as long as I keep giving, God will keep blessing. So that's just what it is.
I'm with you. Lastly, how can folks contact you? And is there anything you want to tell your fans?
Don't contact me, man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm working on me right now. No. You can contact me, IG, man. Devyne Stevens, man.
Yeah.
Go to DevyneStevens.com. Devyne Stevens Academy.
That's right.
Whichever one. I'm here, man. I'm in Atlanta. I am Atlanta, so just ask anybody in Atlanta, and I guess you'll be able to find me.
Bet it up, Devyne.
Respect,
brethren. Thank you so much for coming through this thing, boss. Wish you nothing but the best and much success.
I haven't had an interview in probably 3-4 years. I hope
these folks gonna love it.
Yeah, I hope it's a lot of things I didn't tap into. I didn't want to go too deep.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a chance to sit down again, and
I'm here for it.
And really go there.
I'm here for it. Be High Radio shouted, Devyne Stevens. Holla at y'all in a minute, man. We gone.
Stay safe.